Hello, Guardians, and welcome to Destiny Reset, episode 174. This show is about anything and everything related to the Destiny franchise. If you love playing Destiny 2 as much as we do, you're in the right place. This reset era returns just in time for our first look at the road ahead into Year 2 of Destiny 2. As Bungie details what to expect from the Black Armory in the following seasons, we do our best to avoid leaked spoilers, and finally, we share an email that brings back the Derp Fan feels. Hello, Guardians, and welcome. It's AER0KNIGHT and CyborgSasquatch. Hey, dude.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm great.
Good, man. Good to have you back.
Last week on the show.
Can't confirm he was not eaten.
I was not eaten. No, I heard that discussion. Everything is fine. I am back. I will say, though, I finished the episode, I think, the next day, and man, these guys are entertaining. It was great to hear Blue back on the show.
Yeah, it was good to have him back. We're going to have him back again when you're also here.
Soon. Yes, I heard him. You wanted to talk PvP. I am always down.
He was so disappointed, PvP. Man.
It's all right. He will be back soon.
Yeah.
We have to talk.
Especially once this new season has started.
Yes.
Be some interesting things to talk about with competitive.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was great, man. Family time, all weekend long, some traveling.
Yeah.
And a lot of food, a lot of pie. I had to tweet out some pies that we were enjoying. Yeah, dude, it was great. Thanks. How about you guys?
It was good. It was the same, like lots of food, food coma, lots of entertaining, not as much travel, but a lot of work, then Black Friday, did that this year. Good Lord, that was exhausting.
Oh, did you really?
Oh, yeah.
Went to a store physically?
Yeah. I went to Target at 5 a.m. Friday to get my wife a new iPhone. She was up for an upgrade, and they had a deal. If you got it, you got a $250 gift card. So it's like, well, we might as well benefit somehow from this. It was like, that's Christmas presents, so
that'll do it. Yeah.
I got my butt up early and went up there and spent
very cool
a whole morning up there. It was fun though. Yeah. Like it wasn't like crazy, because people get this idea about Black Friday being crazy. It wasn't crazy. It was just a lot of waiting, but everybody I was in line with and stuff was like really nice and in good spirits. And, we all hung out and chatted, and it was fine, But it was just like a long day, like physically, like standing and sitting and waiting for hours and hours.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I know I just do the online stuff, and I'm looking for that $199 PS4 Slim deal, and I didn't get it on Black Friday, so I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, you need another PS4 so you can not have to move yours around, because I know you like to put it sometimes in your downstairs setup, and sometimes you put it in another TV.
Move it upstairs. Yep. I move it around, and it's the OG launch PlayStation 4. So,
man.
Yeah, those things are like tanks. It's been through some stuff, but I would like, it's all about convenience. They're a little cheaper now. That one's been around for a while. I've had to buy an external hard drive just recently, so I'd kind of like to, have another one.
Yeah, especially in case that one dies.
Years we have. Yes.
That was part of the reason that I justified getting the X, because I was still on the launch Xbox.
That's what mine is.
I was
like, it hasn't seen near the action yours has.
Like how much longer? I have thousands and thousands of hours on this thing. Like, how much longer could it really keep on trucking?
Yep. So you have that comfort of knowing.
Yeah. Now I'm like, all right, new console. Like, I'm not worried anymore. And I actually bought, because I got it from the Microsoft store, I bought a protection plan on it.
Oh, nice.
So if it does like fizzle out.
Sometimes those are, well worth it for the price.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't expensive either. It was like $50 maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, If any Guardian out there that's listening sees a crazy deal on a PS4,
yeah,
please,
let Arrow know.
I really appreciate you. Tweet me at AER0KNIGHT with a 0.
Tweet them or Discord them, and
Discord, yes.
I'm willing to bet there may be something in that ballpark
between now and Christmas.
Yeah, or maybe even after Christmas. You know, a lot of places do like New Year's deals, and you might be able to snag something.
Hope so. I've decided not to get the Pro because I don't have 4K monitor at the moment, so I may just wait next gen before I go.
Well, 4K. And I'll tell you too, like, I'm not saying this just like I like PlayStation is fine, but PlayStation Pro is not true 4K. It's
not as powerful as the X, right?
Yeah, it's
which is weird.
Not simulated. It's
yeah,
upscaled to 4K. Like,
well, Microsoft software. they were all business with that X. I mean, that thing's a beast. From all I ever read about it. So we're so used to those launch consoles. PlayStation usually throws out a pretty powerful console, but the console world to even compare to that X, like it's that thing. It's almost tempting for me to even move over. If Destiny, once again, we'll mention this, was cross save at least, I might consider it.
For sure. I mean, I could play on all 3 platforms that have the ability to.
Same.
If we get that, but I don't know. It may be a couple years, but I'll be patient.
One day.
One day we'll have it, right?
Yes.
Okay, man. Okay. Well, we have like so much ground to cover this week.
No more tangents.
Let's like go full steam ahead here and get into some awesome news and everything that's coming up. First, we got an announcement, right?
Yes, we do. We got an exciting little oxymoron there. Big little giveaway that we want to do. Of course, you guys have heard us talk about Blue and their microphones and their other loot. Well, we want to take that loot, which is a Nano, a Yeti Nano, one of their new microphones that they've just started offering in the last few months. We want to bundle that with a Destiny 2 Forsaken annual pass.
Yeah.
So, Cyborg, how can they get in on this?
Just go to Twitter. Find us on Twitter. We're Destiny Reset, at Destiny Reset on Twitter. Make sure you follow us and then look for a tweet that will be up probably before you even hear this, and retweet that, and you'll be entered to win the Yeti Nano and the annual pass on your preferred console or PC of choice. We will get you that. And this will go through the 6th, December 6th. You'll have time to enter. So just between now and then, just make sure you go find us over on the Twitter. Get a chance to get some cool stuff. And the Yeti Nano is a great little mic.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I have a review of it up on our YouTube if you want to check it out. It's just a really short one, but I've used a lot of Blue's different mics, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah, that's right. Go to Destiny Reset on YouTube, and you'll see Cyborg's wonderful face.
My face.
About the Nano. Right. Yeah, so if you haven't picked up the annual pass, or you have, and maybe you want to give it to a friend, there you go.
Yep. Another thing, if you're not on our Discord, if you're not a member of our Discord server, or if you don't even know what Discord is, believe it or not, there's people that don't know. Discord is like a chat app that you can also use on your PC or your phone or pretty much any platform. So we have a Discord server, discord.gg/Destiny Reset. We are a Discord partner, so we get a special server with, awesome low latency channels for voice chat and all that fun stuff. Thanks to Discord for that. So come join us. There's 1,000+ Guardians in our server that you can hang out with. But we've had some community events recently that are fun to participate in. One was a contest that one of our ambassadors, The Beard, put on, 2 Truths and 1 Lie, and we just had a winner or winners of that won some solid cash. And then I think this weekend, or this past weekend by the time you're listening, another one of our ambassadors, Jumpsmith, put up a community event over on Xbox, a PvP oriented event that you can actually participate in. So make sure you're not missing out on this stuff. We're put together fun stuff for you guys to do. And good ways to meet new Guardians and have fun in the Destiny universe. So come join us. Love to have you.
Definitely do it. We've got a little story to share later in the Dirt Fam discourse that we'll talk about how awesome the Dirt Fam is.
Absolutely. All right, that's all the announcements. Now it's time for the news.
It's been one of those weeks.
Oh, there's so much news.
We talk on and on and on weeks when there's no news.
Yeah.
This week is overload.
This week, so much news. I'm going to start off with This Week at Bungie because it has a lot of the different things that they released. So we're going to start there. This Week at Bungie, we show you the road ahead. Season of the Forge has begun for all players of Destiny 2. Seasonal ranks have been reset. There's new rewards to end, and on and on. First off, we get a look at what's ahead with Black Armory. We've got a cool little calendar here that kind of lays out what we can expect. What I like about this, and I'd love to hear what you think, Arrow, is how they have kind of paced the content out that we're going to get with Black Armory, as opposed to just, releasing it and then everything's just like, bam, it's all just there, go do it. They've kind of spread this out along with, the live events over the next, like 3 months. So we've got December 4th. We see the first forge of Black Armory, Volunder. That same week, December 7th, the Gofanon Forge. December 7th, we get the new raid. December 11th, which is I feel like this really soon, we get the Dawning, free to all players.
Yeah, I wonder if that'll be 2-3 weeks, obviously,
I'm thinking it might even be 4.
Festival was,
to run past Christmas. 4 weeks would put it ending the reset of January 1st.
Yeah.
Which would make sense. Could be sooner, but I guess we'll find out. December 18th is Anami Forge. January 8th, Niobe Labs. And then January 29th, oh buddy, Exotic Quest, The Draw.
Don't even get me started.
Dude, we'll get into that. And then finally, February 5th, Crimson Days returns, free to all players.
Yeah, dude, this is, I love this. If this is the way Destiny would have always been, obviously at this point we would already be used to it and it would seem like a evolving world. But, getting to this point like we have, this is like a amplified version of when they told us we would get our new subclasses as the weeks passed into Forsaken, and we were like, well, that's kind of weird. But I think this is all good, man. This is the structure of Destiny changing, and I think for the good, right? Initially the annual pass seemed new, it seemed weird, it seemed kind of jarring, but if they're restructuring everything this way, this is cool, dude. This is trying to balance everything we were when Festival launched. It's going to seem like there's always something to do, right?
Lots of stuff to do, and I like how cool. We're going to have these new forges. They mentioned we're going to talk about this in the Vidoc, how I believe each forge ties to an exotic weapon. And so we'll be able to kind of pace those out over the weeks that will unfold. And it looks like there's 4 of them, and then an exotic quest, which let's talk about that for a minute. So if you haven't seen the Vidoc, they show some images and things to do with that. Some of it is some of the areas that you go to in the Malfeasance quest, which I guess at this point, we could kind of spoil a little bit, but it involves tracking down a dredgen, which are kind of like rogue guardians that aren't, not even guardians, they're light bearers is the technical term they use. So they have the powers of guardians, but they're not guardians in the sense of protecting the city and following the lead of the vanguard. They just kind of do whatever they want to do. And, there's a character that everyone basically at this point is assuming is Shin Malphur. It's not confirmed, but
kind of lines
ends
up with what we've seen in the lore, right?
Yeah, it definitely lines up. You end up finding the guy's dead remains, and he's been blown away by Shin Malphur. And so they show some of that imagery in this, and the language of the draw. You have to assume, what is it, AER0KNIGHT?
The last word, please.
Gotta be the last word.
Dude, right? Like at this point, it really seems like they're not even trying to, I mean, they're making subtle teases and hints, but
when they know it's a big deal for the community.
Word. Yeah.
Like that is
like they're making the heavy subtle teases and hints. Like it's gotta be the last word, right?
Absolutely. So that'll be pretty exciting. My only complaint is we're going to have to wait for 2 months. Yeah.
I know, when I saw January 29th, but it's exciting though. It's always cool to be surprised with content, and it's cool to know some's coming, right?
Yeah.
And
something to look forward to.
Yeah. And I think, the Forge it's really cool that they've kind of, I always say that I want this ever evolving constant PvE horde mode, and I do still hope someday we get that. But this is sounds like another iteration of things we've had in the past. And what is cool about it is how they've structured this Forge is they can release new tiers of it, if you will, with new loot here and there.
Yeah.
And I think they even said, which we'll dive into more detail, I think they said in the vidoc about the Forge that like many activities that they've started to implement since Forsaken, that's the point. Like they want to be able to continue to build on it, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool. And I think there's other loot. I could be wrong, but I think I've seen some things that there's other legendary loot tied to these forges too, and not just exotics.
There's definitely armor, and I think I don't know if they said other legendary weapons, but I'm assuming there are.
I've seen some screenshots.
There's stuff out in the wild
different
right now.
Versions of random roll things we've seen. So I'm wondering if I don't know if that's just Black Armory, not confirmed, or if that's possibly tied to the Forge.
Yeah, and they also mention as well there's going to be Black Armory mods with special perks and things that you can earn. So this seems really interesting, and I like as well they mentioned that the different forges are going to have different mechanics. So I'm really looking forward to a new horde mode with some different mechanics and just a lot of, I really get into those activities.
Yeah, dude. Like it seems very much like, what they're saying, 5 months from now, they're like, hey, by the way, we're going to drop a new forge on such and such. And you're like, sweet, dude, that's awesome. That means maybe a new exotic weapon, new this, new that. So yeah, this structure seems very cool.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Well, let's get into, the Vidoc, the road ahead.
So much stuff.
Yeah. There's about an 8-minute Vidoc that talks about just kind of where they're taking us this year and some specifics for the season of the Forge and the Black Armory. So some of the things they talked about, one thing that I think kind of wraps up what they're trying to do with the annual pass and with this year is they want less of a concept where, you're getting DLCs like a big package on a disc. It's going to be more like a drip feed through the year where they just keep adding and adding.
I mean, they say it, dude. We've talked about this on the show, right? We've said this exact thing. Like, they say it, ever evolving, like always evolving world. Like you said, not a boxed piece of content. And that's huge, man. That's huge.
Yeah. I like that a lot. They had a little section talking about secrets. They showed a lot of Whisper of the Worm footage. So it seems like they're definitely alluding to something in that caliber in the game that we'll be able to see this season. Who knows what, Yeah. But I'll be looking forward to that.
Definitely.
I'm excited for these new exotics with the Black Armory.
Oh, yeah, they're pretty tasty.
Yeah, so let's talk about what some of these were real quick. First off,
the bow.
You want to talk about the bow?
Can we talk about the bow?
Yes.
I just wonder, they made it a point to relate it to Thorn. I mean, they said if you like Thorn, you'll like this bow. And we were talking about it before we started recording. I mean, basically it has an exotic perk that with a perfect draw, it will do damage over time, and then it creates like a void, what do you want to call it?
I think a cloud. a
cloud.
It's like a pestilence cloud that does damage over time.
That
if
will
you
also,
get a precision shot, right?
Precision, yes. There's a perfect draw aspect and there's a precision shot aspect, but it all ties to possibly proccing a damage over time aspect. So, you know, it has a chance to be very annoying, but it also is very interesting.
Yeah, no, I think I think Dimji even posted like this is going to go really well with that hunter exotic. What's it called? The bow that has the bow perks on it. Oh yeah.
It gives you unlimited draw time. I think they fixed that bug where it wasn't working as well. I don't have it, so I don't remember what the name of it is.
But it's called the bow's called I think it's Le Monarque or something to that extent. And it's they mentioned there's like 3 different families that contributed to the Black Armory. So there was very cool. A Japanese, a French, and what was the other one?
What was it?
Was it like
I'm totally blanking,
Nordic
man.
Or something? I don't remember. But there's basically like these 3 different families, and they have their crests, and each of these weapons are like themed to those armories. So it's kind of cool. There's like a theme, and these are kind of their hallmark weapons. Another one is Anagi's Burden, which is a sniper rifle that is essentially, and we've talked about this so many times, how cool would it be to have like a heavy sniper, a rail gun basically, right? So the way the gun works, it allows you to stuff, they explain it, you stuff all 4 rounds into one shot, and you can just do all that damage in one shot. And they mentioned you could just body shot and get a kill. I guess
I don't remember if it was in the Vidoc or
it was in the Vidoc.
Well, they said, was it in there that they said you hold the reload button is how you do it, and you
probably hold it down.
I forget if that was where I saw that. I would assume it's where it was, but yeah, it goes into one shot like you said, and they say word for word basically that it will body shot a Guardian in the Crucible. Yeah. But at least that sniper will only have one shot.
You know, I mean, it's, I think it'll be fine, like balance wise, because
you were just talking about final round last week on the show.
Yeah, it's funny, man. It's funny.
Yeah.
And then finally there's this crazy fusion rifle called Yotun, and it fits on your hand. It's almost like Mega Man, you know, and it shoots a giant fireball that will follow your enemies and kill them. It looks really cool. So, we've got those 3 exotic weapons, I think, that will be tied to certain forges. And then we've got the, you know, exotic quests coming. They showed off, the new vendor associated with Black Armory called Ada1. This is kind of interesting. So she's an exo, and she's kept the Black Armory secret since the Golden Age. So does that mean she's been like alive for hundreds of years?
Yeah,
like,
I guess
on
so.
the DL, keeping this stuff secret. And she's not a Guardian. They say she doesn't trust Guardians. She doesn't trust the Vanguard. Yet she's gonna have an area in the tower.
Yeah,
I hope they explain this.
Yes.
But I think that's kind of interesting, like just in terms of like world building and stuff. That'll be a cool
and the
character.
whole idea of it's cool, man. Black Armory and these weapons we're going to forge, and they're powerful, and you know, it's cool. I like it. I dig it.
They show off a quick clip. You can see Eva Levante making a return. It appears to be for the Dawning, so she may be the Dawning vendor. I'm glad she'll be
finally
back.
coming back.
Yeah.
I heard Guardians excited that she made it through.
Yeah, there was a bunch of, there was like a 5-piece story told in some lore that you could see in the, from stuff at, what was the Festival of the Lost, that kind of tells like what happened to her, during the Red War, but it kind of left it a little ambiguous whether she lived or died. So good to hear she made it through.
She's here. She's made it.
She's coming back. And then finally, I'm crazy excited about this. They gave some details on the new raid. It's called, man, what is the name of it? Scourge of the Lost, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, it's Scourge. What is it? Scourge. Don't they say they
say
Scourge of the Past.
Scourge of the Past. Right. There we go.
Yeah.
No idea like why or who we're fighting or anything, but they mention it's in an old part of the city that's off limits. They compare it to Wrath of the Machine in terms of, like there's going to be a lot, it's fast paced with a lot of movement. But what's really awesome is that it's not a raid lair. It's a full size raid.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the biggest surprise, right? Cause they even said lair, just lair in the Vidoc. And then they confirm, here in the TWAB here, we'll talk about it, that it's, full raid. Like it's not that raid lairs aren't a thing anymore. They just mentioned like raid experiences can vary.
Yeah, that raid lairs are more associated to another raid, just like in Leviathan. And this is a separate deal. It has nothing to do with the Dreaming City or with The Last Wish. It's its own standalone thing. So I'm excited about this, and it'll be kind of a cool place to go raid in the middle of or someplace in the city, right?
How interesting is that place? I mean, I wouldn't think hardly any Guardians were even expecting this location for a raid. Very cool.
Not at all. So I'm excited about that. The raid launches, this coming Friday. So that's pretty quick. They mentioned that we'll get ahead to that in this week at Bungie. But those are some of the big highlights from the Vidoc. Go watch it if you can. I always enjoy these. They always, deliver some interesting commentary and great, insight into what they're thinking and developing stuff.
Well, plus I thought it was just going to be, hey, this is Black Armory and what you can expect over the next season. But it was full blown, the road ahead for the next full year. So that was nice. Of course, we'll get more and more info as the year goes on, but it was good, man. 8-9 minutes of, hey, here's our plan for your favorite game.
Yeah.
So
the next thing that they pushed out was a gameplay calendar for the whole rest of the year, man. This is really far reaching. Even Deej, he tweeted and said, it's pretty cool. This is the furthest that we've ever really like put things to paper in terms of our plan. And he's like, this feels really good to be able to do this, and it's pretty awesome as a player to be able to look and see, man, like, okay, here's exactly, or, generally what we're going to be seeing all the way through August of next year. Man, can you remember like post the Taken King? Like we were just like, what's happening?
What is happening? I know we're in a totally different world now, man. And we got to give props. I'm sure it's more than one individual, but whoever's making these, we can't really call them flow charts, but like these are some very, easy on the eyes, able to consume.
A lot of the time this is,
going on in our game.
Elliot Gray. And, he does a lot of this stuff. He's like their, like head graphic designer, basically.
Well, thank you, Elliot.
Yeah, thanks for that. I know he's actually, they're hiring for his position because I think he's moving into a different position in the studio. So big shoes to fill there.
Well, actually, speaking of that, did you guys mention last week, didn't, old Raid,
Joe,
didn't he, Joe Blackburn?
Joe Blackburn
right?
is also,
right? He's moving from lead. Yeah.
Yeah. He's been over the Raid team, for quite a while, and he has moved into, I think his new position is design lead. And there's a member of the Raid team that is now over that team. His name,
oh man, I can picture his Twitter avatar
something
right
Frank.
Now. Yeah, I think actually he was on DCP, the both of them recently, right? Or was it not?
No, he wasn't. But
it was a different team.
Yeah,
member. It was.
And his Twitter handle is @bfranktrue. And he was actually the design lead on the Dreadnought, so he's got pretty good pedigree as far as what he's done in Destiny. Yeah. So I think we'll be in good hands. Now, I forgot to mention that totally, but
that's cool even at any workplace, man, to kind of move up the ranks and then have a team member move into your position and
absolutely
learn the ways.
Yeah.
Right?
And we've, over 4 years or so, we've seen a lot, of the staff in Bungie, kind of progress and do different things in their careers and
positions, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And really thrive. And, it's always exciting to see that happen for them and get to see them do bigger and better things or different things, Yeah. It's good.
Completely agree. Yeah.
So talking about this gameplay calendar, cool, man. Dude.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about what we're seeing for Season of the Forge. It divides this up into 2 rows, basically. Free seasonal updates and annual pass content. We know that one thing we didn't mention we're going to see in February, it looks like Iron Banner. That seems like, I don't know. Well, that's not necessarily February. It's just in that column.
In that, yeah. I wonder
so
if
I guess that'll be here monthly, like it has.
Yeah, maybe that just means Iron Banner will be present and it'll still be a monthly event. Yeah. It does kind of, when you look at it, seem like maybe it means just once in the season, but that wouldn't be right. Chasing those ornaments and stuff.
Yeah. Besides that, we've kind of detailed some of the stuff. We know we're getting new Triumph and lore books. We know that we're getting a power increase. We haven't brought that up. Power increase up to 650 for all Guardians.
Yep, and they said in the Vidoc that it's each season will add 50.
Yeah, so we'll be at 750 by the end of the year. Or by the end of August, rather. They have some stuff detailed for Season of the Drifter. Once we get into this season, it gets less and less specific between those 2 seasons. But we know we get Gambit private matches and new maps now for the Season of the Drifter. That's exciting. There will be a spring event, new rank rewards, another power increase. We're going to get, with the annual pass, Joker's wild weapons and gear, new Gambit experience, Xur bounties.
Yes, I saw that one quick.
So that one was exciting. The only disappointing thing is, it was confirmed this week from Dimji that Xur is not going to be selling any new weapons this season.
Isn't that weird? There was 2 shockers, for me, and that was one of them. I would have thought maybe they'd start sprinkling them in, even though his will is not his own and he's completely random. You'd think we'd start sprinkling him some Forsaken exotics, especially with I just this past reset got my first armor piece for my Titan. My first armor piece, period, in the game. Forsaken armor piece. So you almost think you could sprinkle.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. I just don't get it. Why?
Xur,
why wouldn't they?
Exotic. Yeah. Yeah. Xur just needs, with everything else going on, right now in an amazing direction. I mean, we're at the point in Destiny 2 right now where all the hard work we've heard about and they've been implementing, since Warmind probably, it's like we're in an amazing spot right now and we can clearly see how hard the team's been working. So, it's crazy to think how much different stuff they've probably been working on, how many different things have been on their radar. But you always still wonder sometimes with certain things like Xur, man. Xur's needed some love for so long. He's such a cool part of the game. He always has been. And even if he frustrates you, he's still a topic that all Guardians talk about. And he needs some love. So you'd think we'd sprinkle in some exotics, waiting for these Xur bounties. I really hope these Xur bounties are pretty substantial. I hope it's not just he has one bounty. Yeah, I don't know. We won't speculate on that. This is a topic that I want to cover at some point. I want Xur to be exciting. Man.
Well, and we talked about it for quite a few minutes one episode,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of what we would like to see happen. And I get doing some higher level stuff like the Zer bounties.
There's more important things.
Like I get that coming later, in the next season. That's exciting that they're going to do that. I just don't understand why they can't, at a minimum, at least let him sell some of the new items for Forsaken. I don't understand their design choice, why they feel that they don't want to do that.
Yeah, at least that seems like, okay, if there's obviously more important things, there at least has been for many months now. So one way maybe is just, hey, let him sell some Forsaken exotics.
Yeah, that's all I'm asking for right now. Like,
but just, hey, sprinkle them in.
So that just kind of left me.
Yeah.
Just a little, just kind of like, what? Like, why? Yeah. I don't understand. So anyways, they did say they're going to be working on it. So we'll see something eventually, I guess. We're going to get a Joker's Wild weekly quest. So that's exciting. In the annual pass, and another exotic quest. And then for Season of the Redacted, which is Season of the Shadow, by the way. We get Solstice of Heroes is going to come back. An exotic quest. We are going to have a lot of the same stuff. New vanity, rank rewards, Iron Banner, etc. New weapons and gear. New raid. New 6-player match-made activity. That's interesting. 6-player match-made activity. So that's something that almost seems to be an answer to what people have been asking for, because we keep having activities like Blind Well, EP, like these big activities that are just really hard to play with a lot of people, but they're better played with 6 players or 9 players, right? So this is pretty cool that there will be, outside of the raid, a 6-player match-made activity. That's exciting. I wonder what it's going to be.
Yeah. Very exciting. I always think when we hear 6-player and how much the community wants it, I always just think, at some point at Destiny 3 time frame, patrols maybe one day will be.
Oh, no, man.
6-player. We've talked about that many times over the years.
Great. And then there's 2 items here, redacted. Mysterious.
Just so mysterious.
We'll find out one day.
But dude, yeah. This is amazing, man. Like, this is, again, like I said just a minute ago, we are like in the prime time of things are coming around like full force, dude. Like, it's hard not to be excited. Like, there's still things like Zer, and we'll talk about trials in a minute. But dude, there's just, our favorite game is just definitely looking like it's going to always evolve. And there's always, I mean, they even say in the Vidoc again, they want you to have something new to do or something new going on every time you log in on reset.
Yeah.
Right? Which is cool, dude. That's weekly. Like, it's almost overwhelming. I've had many moments since Forsaken launched that I'm like, I'm a bit overwhelmed. Like, there is a multi-page to-do list in the order that I need to do it, that has been created on my Google Docs.
Yeah.
So it's cool, man. Very cool.
Absolutely. Next up, they talk about Scourge of the Past. We've talked a little bit about this already, but they mentioned it's going to release Friday, December 7th at 9 a.m. That's Pacific. Recommended power 640, but there's no minimum power requirement. Anyone who owns the annual pass can drop in and explore. So I'm curious to see how this raid plays out. I had a real issue with how the power level was
that was going to be my question for you.
Yeah, with Last Wish, that really soured the experience for me because it made it just less accessible. This is, 640 is high. And Last Wish was, a recommended power level, but then scaled like 30 plus points past that through the activity. Yeah. But if the cap is 650, I'm wondering if this just, like, when they say recommended power is 640, if that's where it starts and then maybe it just goes up to 650, or if it goes above that, I don't know. But I'm going to have to do some serious grinding between Tuesday and Friday to even get close to 640. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. I mean, yeah, because we know how the power grind is now. I was hopeful that with it only being 50 power levels that you would be able to, but then again, of course, I saw that it was the old school, like a few days after launch that the raid's going live. So hopefully, they've had all this time to take in the power level grind and how it's worked out since Forsaken launched, and they feel like mini Guardians. I don't know what their position is on that with the feedback that everyone gave them between yours and people that didn't have, too much of an issue with it. But I feel like hopefully you'll be a little bit closer to what you're used to, and you'll be able to jump in blind with your team.
I hope so. I just want to be able to do it that weekend and actually progress through it. If we can't finish it totally, I can live with that, but I at least want to be able to do some of it and not be so underpowered that it's just not accessible. And I had to really, I've talked about it plenty enough, but that was such a disappointing aspect.
That was a big bummer for you.
Yeah. For me that, I hope they handle it a little bit differently for this. We'll see how it goes. And, I'm going to remain positive. They do talk a little bit here about power progression. And this may help a little bit. It doesn't seem they're making any major changes to the actual progression itself. But they mention, on the update that's coming this Tuesday, 2.1.1, says all players of Destiny 2 Forsaken may reach 650 power, no annual pass required. The soft cap will remain at 500 power. Players under 550 power should expect to see prime engrams more frequently and receive higher power bumps to help them reach in-game levels. Powerful reward sources will remain consistent for those who own Forsaken. But finally, there will be new powerful reward sources for those who own the annual pass. That's where, I think that could be helpful, that there will be some additional sources, where, I can go and grind like the pinnacle stuff and get the bigger bumps. And then hopefully there will be some additional ways that I can power up, and that might help, but I'm definitely going to have to be on the grind for like 3 days to get anywhere. So.
Yeah, and you may have, just in reading this, might have confirmed it for me, but my question was, when I read this, is the third bullet, they say powerful reward sources will remain consistent for those who own Forsaken, and then new powerful reward sources. So does that mean that I can get to 650 by going and doing the flashpoint? Or do I have to do new stuff?
I don't think you have to do new stuff, but we've kind of broken this down before, right? So some activities or pinnacle activities are typically going to give you a bigger jump in power than something like the flashpoint,
like the Dreaming City.
Right.
But my question is, at a core level, the flashpoint will still increase my power. It's not going to drop something at 600.
I think that's what that means, is powerful reward sources will remain consistent. So things that would be powerful in Forsaken will still offer powerful rewards moving forward.
I had just that moment where I was like, wait, is everything that I've been doing, like activity-wise, going to become irrelevant? That seems like a thing of the past.
Yeah, and I think that's the idea.
And only do Black Armory stuff.
Everything will kind of imagine like all those activities will remain relevant, but the cap for what they will reward is going to go up. So you can probably do things a lot of the same ways. It's just you'll have a new cap for what that gear can give you.
So the classic, go back a few episodes, go do Dreaming City stuff, then of course do Black Armory stuff if you want, then do Dreaming City stuff.
Yeah, usually like if you want to power up quick, go do the hardest stuff first. Like basically if you're underpowered for an activity, the game is designed to give you bigger jumps in power with those rewards if you're underpowered. And so you want to go do stuff that's harder basically first, and that are considered pinnacle activities. And then once you've kind of exhausted those rewards, then you go and do other activities that offer powerful rewards, like your dailies and, Crucible and Gambit and the Flashpoint and just all those little things. Or those basically can give you like a couple points, or at the least a +1 increase on whatever item
something
above your average power.
Mm-hmm. Dude, it's funny because I had that moment where I was like, wait a second. Everything else
made you worry for just
applies,
a minute.
Right?
Yeah. I understand. And I think that's what they're trying to address is how that'll work. But we'll see how the grind is, just coming up this week. So, they talk about the Veterans of the Hunt rewards. They promised this in October. If you played Forsaken before October 16th, you'll get these rewards. It's a unique emblem shader, 2 exotic emotes, and then a consumables bundle. The original goal they said was release these early December, but there's been minor, issues discovered, and they're planning to distribute them with a tentatively planned update for December 18th, 2.1.3. But they do show off what those 2 emotes look like. They're pretty cool. One's a coin flip. And the other is a pretty cool looking knife trick. So these look fun. Yeah,
the one's Drifter's emote, isn't it? Looks like exactly what Drifter does.
Not totally, because he doesn't flip coins. He kind of does. He flips stuff.
And then he flings it at you and shows you. Kind of similar. Yeah, the knife one's cool. And this actually reminded me, dude, we gotta give props on these new exotic emotes.
Oh my gosh, dude. Some of the emotes
they're awesome.
For this season, so they're like straight from memes and they're so funny.
It's so good, which actually, I guess maybe we can talk about it at the end because they share that tweet of the 3 Guardians doing the whole little scene, man. Yeah, they're so
some
good,
great
dude.
stuff.
I love them.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in Reset, I guess. There's some great stuff there. So, finally, Open Destiny player support. They talk about a little bit of the updates coming up. Tuesday, the downtime, scheduled maintenance between 8:30 and 9:15. So it shouldn't take too long. There's an issue going on with the raid this week, a problem with one of the encounters, the Morgeth encounter, that basically can cause the game to crash when he achieves 50% empowerment. So there's a workaround they describe. If you're trying to continue through a raid, go check this out. They're hoping to have this resolved on the patch coming December 4th, 2.1.1.1. Another issue they discovered, there's a strike activity. The inverted spire has been disabled because of some type of issue. So you won't be able to play that until next week as well, or until, December 4th. And then finally, some known issues with Forsaken and Season of the Forge. There's some weird stuff going on with double perks dropping on weapons. What were some of the other big ones I'm looking at? Something with shaders, just kind of some weird stuff. So go check this out.
Can't imagine trying to find that in the code, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You gotta have a pretty good idea where to look.
Yeah. Over movie of the week, we've got the 3-man Petra's Last Wish. This happened last week, but they actually they didn't win last week, but they got it this week. Chevy and Glad and the what's the name of their clan? Clan Redeem at their hijinks as usual. And then a pretty cool Destiny 2 Thunderlord parody called Thunderstruck that I loved. So go check out these videos. And that is the TWAB, man.
Juicy stuff in the TWAB this week.
There's a little blog article up called The Road Ahead that also sums up some of the things we talked about as far as the Vidoc. It's got the gameplay calendar. It's got the Black Armory calendar that you can check out if you want to go reference that stuff. We also had an update this week, 2.1.0, that I guess we could glance at real quick. Was there any like big things that you noticed from the sandbox changes or anything you wanted to?
Yeah, no, we've gotten to a point with the patch notes. We used to go through them all, and now there's always so much to talk about. Yeah. It's like, got to hit the highlights.
Pretty much.
We'll be here for 4 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, anything jump out at you? I know people were talking about Well, one, high impact scouts got a little bit of a damage increase, 1.87, so that's cool. Yep. And then people were talking about the Warden's Law tweaks that they made.
Yeah,
right?
they basically replaced all the perks on it. There was some like kind of unique perks on the gun that I don't have one, so I don't know, how it works now. It basically never worked as intended. So I think they had to do something with it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I heard conversations of that because people grind it out to get that
Seriously.
thing, and then they tweaked
That
it.
sucks.
But yeah, I haven't really seen like how it's performing now. I just heard the initial feedback. Yeah. Prometheus Lens got a 10% damage increase. I always love those kind of weapons since they were introduced. I haven't gotten one back out in a while, but I enjoy using those in PvE.
There's increased range on submachine guns.
Oh, yes. Yep.
That could be big.
Very cool.
One of the big ones that a lot of my buddies have been talking about this week is the changes that they made to trench barrel.
Oh, yeah. That's the biggest one. That's by far, that was the most talked about.
Yeah.
What is it now? It's the...
So it still works the same, but it deactivates after 3 shots. So this is on the EP Shoddy, if you're not familiar. And trench barrel is a perk that basically if you melee, it brings in the range super low, but increases damage dramatically. And that's what made the EP Shoddy so nasty. And it still works, but now that perk only works for 3 shots. So if you want to get that damage every 3 shots, you've got to melee. So definitely is going to slow things down a little bit.
Yeah. Honestly, it's okay. That thing, I just got mine a few weeks ago because, it instantly went, I equipped it on my character and it basically became a permanent part of my loadout. It's not that you don't want stuff to be that strong, but there does come a point when even you as a guardian want to use something else and you don't want to feel like you're not using the most powerful thing. That it's just a beast.
Yeah.
It is.
And
unreal,
even by itself, like it's a good shoddy in PvE. It's got decent range without the perk and I use it, just for regular play, but I'm a little surprised they did anything because they've left it alone for so very long. But I guess this is, what they decided they wanted to do. It's still going to be usable. It's just not going to be quite as effective.
I've still been using it for the past couple of days. It's still in my loadout and it still feels like a
still
beast
powerful.
Yeah. I was going to mention Ace of Spades.
Yeah.
They tweaked that to where, Memento Mori, the exotic perk reduced to 5 bullets instead of 6. So that's what you get. You get that increased damage when you proc that exotic perk. And it can now be refreshed on reload without having to get rid of all the bonus damage bullets. So that's interesting.
Yeah. I saw they made some adjustments to spectral blades.
Yeah, that's the teaser we got too. People seem to be really happy with those changes. I actually just I'll talk about it reset, but I just got that subclass.
Oh yeah, it's super fun to play with. But this is supposed to increase the reliability of melee attacks in PvP. A lot of the complaints have been that it's, you'd have those that old problem that ARC used to have where you'd be, swiping and trying to slice somebody and it just wouldn't connect. So this is supposed to solve that. I haven't played it myself, but that's definitely encouraging.
It's
looking through some of these. Oh, this was a big one, man, that we ran into a lot. They fixed an issue where the buffs granted by Luna faction boots would only last for 15 seconds inside of Well of Radiance rather than the entire duration. Sometimes you would be doing like a damage cycle on a boss or something, and all of a sudden the Lunafaction reload buff would just stop. And you're like, wait, am I inside the well? Like, why am I having to reload? So I guess this is what was causing the issue and they've solved that. So should make those more reliable to use now.
Yep.
Happy about that.
Very good. Once again, actually one that really jumped out to me, I almost forgot about. I love this. They teased this as well, I believe. They subdivided the Valor and Glory ranks, similar to the way Gambit launched with Subdivided. So that's super cool, man. It's the whole point is to make you feel like you're progressing more with that gratification. You I assume, get a powerful reward. So instead of like going from heroic to fabled, just one full swoop, and you get a reward. Now there'll be
heroic 1, heroic 2
in there. Yeah. So that's cool. Now Legend won't have it.
Right.
Legend will just be Legend, but the rest of them, I think that's cool, man. It always feels good to feel like you're progressing. And comp sometimes can feel
and I think they need to have things be a little bit consistent between those different ranking systems, like, because that would be really like, was often confusing for PvP players that I would play with that were in Gambit, and they're like, so wait, what is this? Like, how many points is this? How does this work? Like, why is it so different? You know?
Yep.
So.
Yep. I had to check many times with Gambit when I was trying to get that bygones.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, where do I need?
Even me and you were like, wait, which rank and how many points is that?
Yeah.
Like, I need a infographic somewhere, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's cool.
Dude, I'm excited that Mayhem's coming back.
Oh yeah,
as a rotating
you love
playlist.
Mayhem, don't you? You
love
always
Mayhem
have
so much, dude.
Yeah.
I know some people are just
I got to the point where I liked it. Yeah, well, you know, some of us, I always lean more to the competitive side, but like I said many episodes ago, like, you have to go into Mayhem knowing you're playing Mayhem, and it's fun. Like, you just run around and kill people with supers, basically. And it's fun.
Go in with a tractor cannon and have some real fun.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, totally
that was my
troll.
favorite thing, man. I mean, I didn't feel bad even a little bit.
You get your supers so fast. At least the last time it was up, it's crazy.
And Scorched is getting added to private matches, dude. That's pretty fun.
Yeah. Yep. Very cool.
Yeah.
It's a nice little fun mode.
I heard they also mentioned there's 2 new gold tier medals. Do you know if anybody's found what these are yet?
No, I don't know that, because I'm assuming that was one of my first things I wanted to get when emblem when Forsaken launched, was the made Shaxx proud emblem, which I got, and I assume hopefully it'll be added to that, because there's I think seven that it tracks right now. So
they mentioned
I don't know if that's
Iron Banner now awards unique Iron Banner themed medals with unique audio cues. They also mention Shaxx, I think, has some new dialogue in some different modes and things. So gotta try to find those. That stuff always cracks me up. They had
dude.
There was one of the writers was on the raid along a couple weeks ago, and I think I've figured out he's got to be my favorite writer at Bungie, because he's the guy that wrote all of or most of Shaxx's audio dialogue, all the Drifters dialogue. He wrote a lot of the stuff for Last Wish. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the guy. Like, he's writing some of the best material I love in the game. I need to meet this guy.
That's cool. Very cool.
Let's see what else we've got here.
There's so much. You guys, if you haven't, you go to Bungie.net and click on the little icon that says patch 2.1.0.
They've got some of the changes to Gambit. A lot of this stuff they kind of previewed in the past month or so. So none of this is really a huge surprise for how this is working. Some of it with primeval mechanics and the bonus stacks and things like that. And
I'm interested. People have been playing a ton of Gambit because all the reviews that are coming out for the Breakneck Pinnacle weapon are like amazing. And it's actually, I think, might be the first pinnacle weapon that I go for, honestly. And I'm interested to start seeing feedback about the changes to that catch-up mechanic and stuff. And see
I haven't gotten to play yet. I'm like chomping at the bit too, but my team that I play with, the guys haven't been available. We're recording right now on a Thursday, so this is early in the reset for us. But I'm going to be jumping in when we finish here, and I'm super excited to go play some more Gambit and see how these play out for sure. I'll come back and tell you next week.
Jumping in as well. I want that auto rifle. I mean, I've already said many times, auto rifle is my go-to 2 for PvE. It's fun.
Yeah.
I think that's what Blue said last week. It's not that they're the most effective thing. They're just fun to use. I like to always be shooting in PvE. And this thing, dude, that perk it has on it, like I want.
And one of the things that I find, especially in Gambit, I like running auto rifles because in Gambit, you're constantly dealing with waves of enemies and trying to negotiate the space and stay alive. And, so what I find myself that I do a lot with auto rifles, and I've done this for a long time in this game, is kind of pick 2 or 3 targets that are clustered up, and I'll, start my magazine and I'll spray a little bit on one till I get the stun, and then move on to the next one and stun that one. And then immediately swing back and finish off the other one, because you're engaging multiple targets and kind of stunning them and slowing them down and knocking them back. And you can't do that with other guns. You can do it with an auto. You can kind of do it with an SMG, but usually the magazine's too small. And I think that that's a way like that auto rifles have a unique advantage in these types of activities where when you're at that medium and close range, if you know how to use an auto rifle certain ways, it's very effective for that activity.
Oh yeah. Yep. Definitely. I like to in Gambit, especially if I'm playing solo, people either don't or they do let themselves have fun in solo. It can be painful sometimes, but there's definitely strategies as a solo player, and a lot of times I like to be the guy that just kills the things and lets everybody get the most.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll throw my rally barricade up, dude, and I'll get out Thunderlord or my auto rifle, obviously, and I'll just kill everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, pick them up, boys. Pick them up.
Man, I remember too, I got a piece of Dreaming City armor. I think it was a Reverie Dawn. Maybe it was a chest piece or in gauntlets, but it had machine loader on it, machine gun loader. So that, there's new perks in the game now, and they're dropping on all the items in the world. I was like, oh man, machine gun loader. Yes. Like, got excited about that. So keep an eye out for new perks and stuff, as you're playing,
Definitely.
Check all the nodes on different stuff, cause there might be perks that you haven't seen before. There's some stuff about items and economy. Check those out. This one, I'm wondering if this was, I don't know. There's one in here. It says fixed an issue where Nightfall unique rewards were not dropping at the rate intended for non-Forsaken owners. I wonder what that means. I don't know.
It's an interesting.
I was just like, wait, is that what was happening to me? I don't know.
Well, yeah, I was with you listening last week. If we were on the same platform, I would have ran with you, you lucky charm.
I know, man. Well, just like get me in your party or something. Apparently that's all you need.
That's right. Just in Discord chat.
Because that's all it took for Blue.
I ran it like 15 times.
Like, we were in a call about to record SDR, and he was finishing the strike, and that's when he got it. So I was like, dude, I think I'm the luck charm for the Osprey.
Might have to do that next time.
I'll do it. I'll do it for you. Finally, there's some performance improvements, improved activity and destination load times on consoles.
Oh, dude, I forgot that was in here.
Yeah. And,
did you know, have you noticed? Which you're on an Xbox.
I don't know, because I'm already having a better experience using an X. So I don't know how fast.
I've noticed on my PlayStation, like the reason I know I've noticed is because I will go into my menu and do some things while I'm flying, and then I get thrown out of it when I get to the tower or something, and I'm like, whoa. Okay, wait.
So you feel like it's faster.
I think, I definitely feel like there's been an increase. I hope we see it continued.
Yeah, they said, note, we are actively investigating load times for loading the player inventory screen, switching between UI tabs, starting up the game, signing on, and selecting characters. If they can work on all that stuff, that would be huge.
At this point, it almost wouldn't be Destiny if I could apply a shader while I was flying into a space.
You know what, though?
You know what I mean?
I actually read... Where did I read this?
Or preview shader.
It might have been something I read on Reddit, but it was I think a Bungie dev was talking about that specifically. And this has always been a thing since Destiny 1 where
dude, we've talked
once
about
you're
it for so
loading
long.
into an activity, you couldn't preview items anymore. You could select things and change them, but if you went to preview and look at it, it wouldn't load. And I've always thought, yeah, you know, it should started taking too long or something. But the reason that actually happens is because once it actually starts loading the new play space, it reloads everything.
All of that information.
So everything you're wearing, like all of that stuff has to be reloaded into the game's memory to load you into the new space. And that's like literally you can't look at those things because they're not technically in the play space until you land.
Again.
So
yeah, these are things as players and not game devs.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. I was like, that's why. And I don't know if they'll ever be able to fix that, like because of the way the game's coded, unless they make a big change there. But
it's like it makes me think of like the PlayStation 4 interface. Well, and the Xbox, of course, when we got the multitasking on console. You know, it's like to even be able to get in your menu and do these things and look at what you're doing, look at your triumphs and all that. That's nice, man.
Yeah,
like it's okay if I can't preview a shader. It's all right.
Yeah, it's okay.
We'll make it.
Finally, oh man, this was such a big one. So, you know, I mentioned I did some Black Friday stuff, and since I got my X, I've been wanting to get a 4K TV or monitor, but I kind of had to hold off because I had to, you know, kind of save a little bit of money. And, I was kind of starting to look, and I was like, you know, maybe in the next month or so, there might be some good deals. So let me kind of look out and pick what I want. And so I found a monitor that I wanted to get, and I had it picked out after looking through tons and tons of different TVs, monitors, like, okay, what can I get that's like in a reasonable price range, and et cetera. So I had it picked out, and I had it saved to a list on Amazon. And when I was waiting at Target on Black Friday, I like pulled it. I was like, let me just check if it's on sale. And sure enough, it was deal of the day. So it was like a $500 monitor for like $360. So I was like, okay, I got to snag this. So I bought it. And so I finally got a 4K monitor to see what 4K looks like on the Xbox One X.
Very cool. Yeah.
And so I got it. When was it? The middle of the week, last week. And I got it all set up. And first thing I did was I loaded up, Red Dead 2, because I wanted to see like what an open world looked like. It was beautiful, right? And then I loaded up Destiny 2, and for some reason, like the 4K aspect, like the detail and the textures and everything was so beautiful, but it was mega bright. Like,
oh, really?
I couldn't figure, like the colorization was off. It was way too bright. And I could play, but it was like straining my eyes. And the problem was this monitor, when it's in HDR mode, there's only like a few things that you can adjust. Like there's probably like 30 different display settings, like as far as the picture that you can adjust. But when it's in HDR, you can't do a lot. And I was like, man, this is disappointing. This does not look good. And sure enough, the patch drops and it says HDR fixed an issue where brightness was not adjusting properly for players.
Wow.
And I got the patch in. I was like, oh my gosh, I hope it fixed it. And it totally fixed the problem. And I was so happy, man. That's crazy. Cause I was like,
what a time to make the purchase.
I was like, either I'm going to have to turn off HDR or I'm going to have to return the monitor, you know?
Yeah.
So I was so happy.
How random is that timing?
Like the timing was, could not have been more perfect.
That's crazy. Yeah. That is crazy.
But so my, you know, long story short is like it fixed my issue like as soon as I got the monitor, and Destiny looks awesome in 4K. I've seen it, you know, at 60 FPS and with really good monitors, like when playing on Bungie's equipment and stuff. So I've kind of gotten an idea before, but even on the X in 4K, And with HDR, I'm like, I can't believe how great the graphics in this game look. Just the level of detail and stuff that you can see with textures and things is just crazy.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
Get that 4K if you can, man.
Yeah, you're making me now want to rethink my Slim purchase. Just look for the Pro deal. Then buy a monitor.
Yeah.
Then another monitor so that I
know
can
you just got
move it.
You just got your whole monitor thing set up, and now I'm like, go buy a 4K thing.
Yeah. I've got 4 different displays.
Yeah.
In our game.
You might just want to wait, man. I mean, the new PlayStation is not rumored to be that far off.
A few years is after they released that statement. Everybody's speculating 3 to 4 years.
I think it's going to be 2020.
Yeah, I've heard that too. It's crazy just to think that.
Yeah.
Though. The fact that we're almost to 2019 is just crazy.
Yeah.
It's very possible though.
Yeah. Well, that was the bulk of the patch notes. I mean, there's a lot of little stuff in here, little tweaks to the sandbox, a lot of things in here, worth looking at. You know, go check it out, go read it. You know, as always, we can't cover everything, but we'd love to.
Go read it. I get so excited in patch notes.
I know,
dude.
Like, oh, what do we got?
I get pumped.
What are we gonna see this week?
Bullet point. Yep.
What is some of the other news before we wrap up news this week?
Dude, there was some random stuff. We mentioned this a few weeks ago, but we don't get crazy into speculation and spoilers unless stuff's dropped. But this one's not really a spoiler. People figured out that there is another space in the tower right now called the Annex. You can see it if you pull the map up. In game right now.
Yeah.
But people figured out how to use the buffs that you can get in the tower, specifically the jumping buff, and they glitched out over into this area. Apparently if you die somewhere around over there, you will spawn there. There's a spawn point already. There's nothing over there other than just the area, but you can check it out if you have any desire to see this. I'm sure you can find it on the YouTubes. There was another. We'll save that. We're going to talk about trials for a second, but there was another thing which we're not going to talk about at all anywhere beyond what I'm going to say right here. There's a cutscene out there that has surfaced that is pretty crazy.
Yep.
And that's
somehow it was leaked, pulled from game files, and it's everywhere.
We don't know if we're going to get it with Black Armory or we have no idea.
Yeah. It doesn't have any context for when it occurs, but from what I hear, because I haven't watched it, it's pretty crazy. So
yes. I have seen it. Cyborg has not. So even our conversation off of the show is this exact scenario.
What I hope comes from this, because this has, in my opinion, been a problem a lot since Forsaken. There's data mining going on, and there's some stuff, you know, as far as data mining goes, that's helpful and interesting. But the thing that I think is problematic is people being able to pull content out of the game that's not in release yet. You know, like we have now, it's in the files that we downloaded with this patch, but the content doesn't go live till Tuesday. You know, people pulling, audio files, and here we've got a full cutscene that they were able to pull out of the game. I mean, stuff that just is not meant to be released yet. And I'm seeing a lot of ire and upset people that didn't want to intentionally get spoiled on this, but you know, there's YouTubers posting this stuff in clickbaity fashion. There's Reddit posts. A lot of people I'm seeing are complaining about it getting posted in Facebook groups they're part of, Twitter, Reddit. I mean, it's so hard to avoid if people are jerks and just stick it in your face, what it is. And in my opinion, it ruins the content for me if that happens. Yeah. I stayed away because I luckily have a friend that will click on that stuff, and he texted me and was like, dude, don't look, don't go anywhere. Like,
You have somebody looking out for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get an agent out there. I know who it is. When that secret agent, spoiler agent of yours, Darth, I went out and clicked. See, we were talking about this before the show. For some reason, video games, they don't bother me when it comes to spoilers. Like, there's story there. Okay. I have mentioned before, I do usually, like, if I know something's out there very story related in depth, I'll avoid it. But even sometimes story, like watching it leaked beforehand and then experiencing it again, like when I actually play myself, I'm still just as excited. Like, movies are different. I was telling you, like, I don't want to know a plot twist or something in a movie. For some reason, video games don't bother me, but I totally get it. And we were talking about even the fact that you have no idea what it is still fine, but it's not really, because now you're already like building expectations off what people are telling you but not telling you, and you know what I mean? Like, and there's always that aspect of it
no
too. So it does stink overall. Right, yeah. See, I would rather not have, like, it not have leaked. I don't care to go watch it, but ultimately I would rather it have not leaked and neither one of us even be talking about it right now, and we just experience it when it releases, right? Yeah. Yeah, so I totally get it, man.
That just ruins the experience a little bit for me. Like, I like it, same thing with movies, books, just any media, anything that there's a story, the joy of discovering a surprise and experiencing it without expecting it is really fun for me. And so things like all I know is that there's something, big happens. There's something that has big implications. And now I know that. Now I'm expecting it. I'm looking for it. My mind is silently churning, trying to figure out what it is, Well,
it's almost like when you hear a movie, like your friends, or you see reviews, people just say a movie is horrible, or even it's amazing. Right. And then you kind of build up that expectation one way or the other, and you go watch it, and you're like,
and everybody's like, "Oh, I can't wait for the twist." You're like, "Oh, there's a twist." Like, now I'm going to be looking for it.
Yeah. Like, or even further, you're like, "That was it."
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure that they are thinking and working on this, but I really hope that the folks at Bungie can devise a way to further obscure and mask or do something to prevent this stuff from happening.
I can't imagine the undertaking, right? I mean, especially with the 3 different platforms now. I mean, it's amazing. I know we've gotten a pretty fair amount since Forsaken launched, but like this one's probably pretty up there in substantialness.
And it seems like the big issue is that because Destiny is on PC now, you can get into the files, right? This was never an issue when we were just on console, because you can't, unless you have dev kits and you're going to an extreme level of, hacking and manipulation or something, like you couldn't get into the files to do what people can do now. But now that it's on PC, you can really access a lot more. And data mining was what we used to see, where they could get into the API and just see what's available system wise and like pull data and kind of try to piece stuff together. Now it's like, oh yeah, let me go into the files and okay, here's some new audio. Like, you got to dig to find this stuff, but eventually you can. And that's kind of what ruins it. And I feel like they need to either change how they're like delivering this stuff to do it so that it's timed when actual releases are supposed to happen, or devise some kind of technical way to keep this stuff from being accessed, because it ruins it for everybody. I mean, and you have to imagine, if you're the developers that worked on that piece of content, you've got to be disappointed when it's not delivered in the context it was intended for. Right. Like some big story point, or like the whole thing with Thunderlord, like that was totally ruined. That could have been an amazing surprise for everyone involved if we didn't know about it. But we knew ahead of time what it was. We had all of Amanda Holliday's audio stuff leaked. I mean, it was just totally so disappointing, and it's got to be disappointing for the devs.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
I hope they can fix that. It's frustrating.
Well, Guardians, we've warned you if you don't want to see it.
Be careful.
You may be careful on your feeds. Moving on real quick. We don't have to spend a lot of time on this. I did want to talk about it for a minute. One of my immediate thoughts after watching the Vidoc was the absence. I remember even like being in the first minute of the 8 or 9 minute video thinking, ooh, I wonder when Trials is going to pop up here in the next couple of minutes. And they have since announced that it originally was planned Trials was going to make a return in season 5. It is not making a return in season 5.
Have they said it all in season 5? Like it will not return in season 5?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Cosmo had either posted or replied on Reddit, I believe. And in the paragraph that I read, it seemed as though like, I don't remember word for word, but I got the impression towards the end, like that season 5 wasn't when it was going to happen. They're still working on it. So, you know, dude, of course, I mean, I was a little bummed. I was decently bummed when it wasn't coming back at launch at Forsaken, but like I have since realized, even a month into Forsaken, like, okay, yeah, we don't need Trials right now. I don't even know when I'm going to fit Trials in. I don't even know right now when I'm going to fit Trials in with competitive. Like, if we don't get competitive rank by playing Trials, I don't know. I can, like doing Trials every weekend like I used to. I don't know how I'm going to do that when I also want to grind comp and I also want to do this. So, you know, I that part of it is definitely understandable through the release of Forsaken. But now, dude, like it's going to be easy. There's still going to be plenty to do, but it's going to be a little easier, I think, to manage some things. Especially, you know, with not a massive power level increase and you're just kind of consistently working on things now as each DLC, if you will, annual pass, content releases. So the bigger thing for me, I'm bummed that I'm not going to get to play. Many Guardians aren't going to get to play probably one of their favorite modes for a little while longer. I'm totally confident that this decision was made because they want to spend more time on it, obviously, and they don't feel like it's ready. It's like a delayed game. I think, like I said last time, I'm more than willing to wait. Not that I have a choice. You know, if they want to work on it and really make the content, make Trials something amazing, right? When it comes back. The thing about it is, though, man, that's a bummer too, is that it's like Trials is this big part of Destiny for the PvP side of the community. And even if you don't PvP, I'm going to venture to say for even PvE Guardians, it was fun to watch people play Trials. And, you know, there's been that conversation that, you know, Trials didn't come back with the launch of Forsaken, and there's all this hype around BR games and this or that. And Trials was like that thing in Destiny that so many Guardians love to compete and play. And it honestly, in a timeline perspective, kind of stinks that we might have to wait another 3 months for this, you know, amazing mode in Destiny to come back, right? And I feel like maybe all the PvE players are listening to me and they're like, dude, I don't care. But there's so many players, there's so many Guardians that really enjoy Trials. It's like the pinnacle thing to do in PvP. So, you know, I don't know. Long story short, I'm bummed. I feel like other than just me being bummed, I feel like time-wise and a timeline factor and the importance of that mode being in Trials, like I hope it doesn't affect it in the long term, you know? I don't think the game's hurting in any way. I just think it's important for Trials to come back. So, you know, if it's going to take a little bit longer for them to feel like it's the right time, that's fine. I just miss it, dude. I
understand.
Trials.
Yeah.
I want it to be
I know a lot of
game,
players
you know?
are disappointed it's not returning.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an important mode in Destiny. You know, and I think it's fun to watch. There's that thing out there where I think I even heard Destin Legary on Fireteam Chat at IGN. He just said, you're working on it. That's cool. But like, let me tell you what to do with Trials. And so many Guardians have said this. They're like, just bring it back the way it was in Destiny 1. 3v3. Like, that's all you gotta do. Just bring it back. But, you know, they're all about innovating and things like that. I feel like it's almost like the launch of Forsaken, right? They're taking everything they've learned. They know we liked 3v3. They know this, they know that, and they're not going to change it so much. They've also learned like that's not the way to go sometimes. So I feel like we are really going to get an amazing experience back. We just got to wait a little longer, dude. It really is. It's like when your favorite game gets delayed. It's like you're okay with that because you know it's going to be even more amazing when it comes out, but it's just a bummer.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bummer. So that's my thoughts, dude. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I totally hear you on everything you're saying. I mean, even as somebody that didn't play a whole ton of Trials in Destiny 2 Year One, I would like to be able to play it again. I mean, and I have a lot of friends that enjoyed playing it that I play with now that I would like to go in and play with. And, you know, it's a really special mode. Like it's a mode that, means a lot to our community. It's a mode that made a lot of creators' careers. It's a mode that I have had a ton of fun with at points when I did play it a lot, and I would like to see it come back. I think they've got to, they don't have to, but I think that their intention is to make sure they do it right. I don't think it went well in Destiny 2 Year One.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
And I think that, you know, you bring up Battle Royale games and kind of the state of big PvP, in gaming right now. Like there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of different stuff out there that wasn't around when Trials was around in Destiny 1. You know, Trials was very, very unique for what it did. And I think when they bring it back, it's got to make a splash. It's got to be something special, even if it's elimination again, you know, however they implement it, whenever they do, for it to bring in the player population, it's got to be good. You know, it's got to be on that level of when it originally came out with House of Wolves, like just something what totally not groundbreaking, but just like people are going to have to want to do it.
There's got to be an excitement.
Yeah, it's got to be something
excitement
exciting
to play and excitement to watch.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that's part of why it's taking a while. Like they just really want to do it right. And I hope that when it does return, like that we see a return to form in terms of, you know, the excitement and the involvement. And I hope that it's fun. You know, I hope it's something I want to play because I would love to play Trials again.
Yeah. Well, dude, and it would be, again, your favorite game being delayed. It's like, it would not be good if it came out in season 5 and it was not like,
it was not solid,
polished and that would not be good. So yeah, it's as painful as it is for all of us, PvP guardians, and not even like, it's okay. We'll the
okay. Silver lining is that, you know, they have competitive now and everything involved in that scene. And I know even for players that are in competitive, like, it's not exactly how they want, you know, that a lot of people feel like there's a lot of need for improvement, but there's something there, you know, there's something there for those players that really enjoy that part of the game. And I guess that's the silver lining there is at least there's something different than, you know, if Trials disappeared in Destiny 1, you know, all you'd have is sweaties, you know, like, that's all you'd have to do is scrims and stuff. So at least there's that and it'll come back eventually, you know,
man. And it's going to be exciting when
I think does. So. Yeah. And, you know, that's another thing is they probably want to make sure that they get it in a good window, you know, like a good time, like where people can actually like pay attention to it when it does drop.
Yeah.
So
spring seems like a good time for that.
Hopefully we're not going to be waiting until August. You know what I mean? So
yeah, hopefully not. Yeah. I don't want it with I would definitely like to see it in the next season.
Yeah.
Waiting till the next big fall release. I mean, that almost kind of like makes sense a little bit. If they're going to do that, I just want to know now.
I didn't want to say it, but it's like,
yeah,
you might want to start to consider that could be a possibility.
You just eased me into that, man. Dang it.
I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna say, man. I'm just gonna say that's what's gonna happen, and anything else will be a pleasant surprise. Yeah. Hopefully,
we'll see.
It's all good, man. Plenty to do.
Yeah. My heart goes out to the players that miss trials. Like I hear you.
Dude, it was every Friday night, man. That's when my Postmaster became Vault 2.0 because I just played trials so much that I just didn't empty my Postmaster. It just flooded with loot. Well,
Arrow, now that you are with us this week, I've got to ask you, man, how was your reset?
Oh, dude, I was talking a couple resets. I was trying to remember sometimes, when we have an off week, like I tell myself I'm gonna make notes because 2 resets is a lot, dude. I think the last time we talked, I was missing a helmet to hit 600. Two episodes ago.
I think you got it like that night though.
It was a
after
day.
we recorded, right?
It was either that night or the next day. Yeah. I ran a daily and got a helmet. I was pumped, dude. So I hit 600. And man,
Congrats.
It's been ever since. Thanks. I'm pretty sure.
Now they raised the bar again.
Sure, that's where we left off. Yeah, right. And then they raised it. I hit it just in time. I tell you what, dude. Like, and the reason it took, I play pretty regularly. You know, at least several days a week for a few hours. You know, so it's crazy that part of the reason it took me a little longer is because I spent a decent amount of time in PvP to kind of balance both.
Yeah, and
of
you're
course, we've mentioned you don't get as much power.
Yeah, you weren't doing stuff like the raid and like things that really bump you up fast, you know? So I can see why.
Once I got that 600, we've talked about that auto from Festival, dude, that increased my gain substantially. Yeah. So I hit 600, dude, and I've just been going since then. I'm pretty sure I've already said on the show, I want to say it was when Joe and I were chatting, I've got my Luna. So that was a milestone done. Dude, as soon as I hit 600, I don't know what clicked, but I was like, okay, it's time to start taking a look at these titles.
Yeah.
And, I did not realize I should have maybe looked at those a while ago a little bit more in detail because I looked at them all and I'm like, okay, which ones do I want? I've known from the start I want to pursue Unbroken, but that's going to take a few seasons. So I'm like, which one of these other ones do I want? And the one that sticks out the most to me, dude, like not necessarily, it is kind of hard to get because RNG, we'll talk about that maybe, but the one that's like, okay, which one's like, okay, you're a veteran Destiny player. I mean, they all really are. They're all substantial in their own way, but Wayfarer really stuck out to me, dude. Wayfarer was like, all right, like you're a through and through Destiny player. Like it kind of encompasses all aspects of the game, right? Like you played these things, you did this stuff, you hit each patrol point, you know, this or that. If it wasn't for RNG, the thing honestly wouldn't be too terribly much of a grind. A lot of it, I actually think I was at 9 of 22 on that thing. I started tearing away at the lost sectors that I didn't realize I hadn't done, and then the heroic adventures that you can do anytime you want, of course, on Mars and Mercury. And before I knew it, dude, I think now I'm at, I want to say 18 or 19 of 22.
Nice.
And the reason I said I should have maybe looked at it a little sooner, I have one heroic adventure I need to do. I have 4 or 5 on 2 different patrol spaces. So I got to wait for Titan came back. It was 3. Titan came back up this reset. I actually needed 4 on Titan. And then I've obviously not spent a whole lot of time on Titan. And then I need 1 on the EDZ and 1 on Nessus. Okay. So I'm like, all right, there's nothing I can do about that. That's going to take a few weeks. So what I'll do is I'll go get what I can as they come up, and then I'll just grind the absolute craziness out of Escalation Protocol.
Yeah. What do you need there?
I have been playing so much. Dude, I didn't have any. I think, I had the I had the Titan mark.
Oh,
That's
so you had to get a bunch of gear.
Yeah, so I've been grinding EP like crazy. I played some Escalation Protocol, but not a lot. I always thought it was fun. I did other stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't play it a ton. So I didn't ever have a key to like do the thing. I also didn't have Sleeper Simulant still, dude.
Oh,
so
man.
I did that. And it's funny, man. A lot of that, I think I've mentioned before, a lot of the drive to get exotics sometimes in those quests are how potent they are in PvP. And while Sleeper was in Gambit, like it wasn't like a go-to thing in the Crucible. So I was like 75% of the way done with the quest without even realizing it. So it took me like less than an hour to finish it off. So anyways, man, just that stuff, knocking it out. You guys talked about it last week. I've learned the ways of the
Braytech grind.
Oh, the stems. Yeah. The Braytech grind, dude. I was missing almost all of those. All I had was the Frigid Jackal, the snipers. So since I've started grinding, I ran the Nascent Dawn quest on both of my alts. I got duplicate there, but that's okay. I got one that I didn't have. I think I need maybe 3 more of those guns, 2 or 3. So I'm close,
Good
man.
luck.
Like I'm getting to the point where it's starting to look like I should hopefully I'll be able to get it without it being too crazy of a grind. But yeah, I'm still a bit away. That Braytech stuff, that's all RNG.
Yeah.
So it's we'll see what happens.
So I just finished that last night, man. I finally got my last Braytech weapon and got Wayfarer.
Awesome.
I was so happy.
Cool. What was the last weapon?
I
you were
needed
missing?
the Winter
Congrats,
Wolf, the auto rifle.
Okay, yeah, I don't have that either,
Yeah.
dude. I remember seeing Guardians with that months ago and being back in static roll days. And I was like, wow, dude, I want that thing. Like, I thought it just dropped from as much as I play Destiny, dude, if you don't research some stuff, I thought it just dropped from Anna and I just hadn't gotten it. But yeah, no, obviously it's a schematic and I don't have that one. I don't have that. And is there an SMG? I don't have the SMG.
It's a sidearm.
Sidearm,
yeah,
sorry,
18
not
kelvins.
SMG, sidearm. Yep. And I don't, like I mentioned, I don't have the Nightfall. But dude, I'm close, man. I think I'm like 33 of 39 of those. Of those weapons. So I'm getting close. It's fun, dude. As soon as I hit 600, something just clicked and I'm like, all right, it's like the hobbyist level, dude. Like just kicks in gear even more. I'm like, I want one of these
Start
titles,
collecting
man. Like,
stuff.
I want one.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah, so I'm
finally,
just tearing away. Yeah.
Finally got my first one because I'm like a couple RNG items away from another 2 and I'm just like, come on, like something's got to give here. Because every time I see one of my friends or somebody on Twitter, like, all right, I'm Cursebreaker, I got Dredgen, and I'm like, I have that done. I'm just a RNG roll away from having that too. Like it's chaps my butt so bad.
And we talked about that 2 episodes ago. You asked me how I felt about RNG being in on this. And you know what? My thought has changed a little bit. I wish that like things like all of them, but like Wayfarer, dude, I was having a blast. Just like, okay, what do I need? All right, let's go do these lost sectors. Let's go do this. I want them to be difficult to get. And like even months into releases, like, wow, they have that title. That's cool. Like they play this game. That's legit. But it would be nice if you could work at them at your own pace and definitely, not be subjected to like.
Yeah. I think at the end
RNG.
of the day, like a lot of people feel that way. And I think there just needs to be, some layers of RNG protection of sorts if they're going to do things that way,
Well, yeah, dude, like I've gotten 4 of the snipers, 3 just since I've started this, and I got duplicate scout drop on each of my alt characters, like that would definitely help if duplicates went away in title grinds like that. I mean, RNG is just a part of Destiny. Yeah, and I think if we want titles, it might be hard. But
happened is, they built things like that into the game as part of, the rewards, even in, we're talking about stuff that was from Warmind, but even in Forsaken, like, some of the Dreaming City stuff and, some of the stuff in, the Dredgen title with Gambit, which weren't RNG originally. They changed that, but I think those things were created as rewards and they were random drops, you know, just as cool stuff that you could maybe get. And then the collection aspect of the Triumph and the title was probably built after that. And it's kind of, I think it's one of those things where it probably wasn't considered how this would play out this way, where, people are just waiting for a month to get that one item to drop for something that they basically earned and just get frustrated, and I would hope that moving forward, they kind of consider that whole design, element of how all that ties together,
Well, and it's like, like I said, I want them to be substantial. I want you to have to do a lot to get them. That's the whole point. And that's exciting, to see them.
Sure,
that's what makes them exciting to see,
I saw a guy that was, Ribbonsbane in the tower yesterday. I was like, holy cow. Wow.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, it's like one of the other things I need the emblem. The only thing I need to finish my destinations for Forsaken is the emblem you get, I guess, randomly. Some say from the Blind Well. I'm 24 at 25 and I haven't gotten that to drop, dude. So that hopefully I don't end up with everything but that emblem. I guess it's the one that tracks your Ascendant challenges or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, man. So that's what I've been doing real quick. I've started working on my other characters. My hunter's like 590 something. My warlock's next, doing some stuff. Actually, it's full curse week. So at some point I'm really going to try and start the Malfeasance stuff. But every time it comes up, there's other stuff I need to do. I still haven't beaten the Shattered Throne. So like the other thing I'm doing this week before even that is getting all the subclasses on my other characters, because you run Blind Well and then you do your offering. And you get your third subclass. So I'm trying to get all that done.
There's a lot to do during full curse week.
Dude, there's so much to do. Yeah. And then I got Huckleberry Catalyst to drop. I did get my first exotic armor piece for my Titan. How do you say those legs? Antius Warbs. Yeah, that's the ones that reflect, right? Yeah. I remember when they dropped, dude, I was like, seriously? Like, for real.
Out of all the ones
that's
that
the one dropped, I get. Right? Out of all the potent,
like, not Ursifrius, not One-Eyed Man, like Antius Wards.
Like, seriously. I mean, dude, we are a week away from Black Armory dropping, and I just got my first, which is fine, but it would have been really cool if I would have gotten like the mask or the helm and stuff like that. So anyways, man, that's been my reset. I do want to talk about, maybe next week, we won't do it this week because we've already talked about so much. I want to talk about the comp weapon.
Yeah,
but we'll talk about that later.
I know that's.
What about your reset?
That's a big thing right now. We'll make sure to carve out some time next week or something to talk about Mountaintop for sure. I touched a little bit on, I was working a bunch on, I ran out of resonant stems, over the weekend.
I'm out. Almost.
And so I had to get like actually really grinding, like having to get those for every, I forget what they're called, to get every node. So it was taking hours every day.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I was not getting great drops. It was taking like 10 to 20 nodes to get a schematic to drop. I was like, come on, you're killing me.
Nuts, man. I'm having to grind the thing for the keys too, because I still need the armor. So I'm having to do like heroic adventures and stuff.
That's a grind too. So I spent a bunch of time so far this reset doing that, and finally finished. I got lucky and got that final drop last night. I was really happy about that. And then,
that's awesome, dude.
Doing a Shattered Throne run. I'm trying to get the ship to drop because that's where the best chance of getting the ship is. And my buddy Darth was playing with me. He got it to drop on the first encounter we beat. I was so upset that he got it. So I've got to do that like on 2 more characters to try to get more chances on that to drop. And, just kind of explored all the new, gear and different stuff. I went and did some strikes to kind of start working on the strike pinnacle weapon. Just kind of working on all this different little stuff there is to do. I kind of like that we do have this week to like explore some of this new stuff before we get the new content. I like that how this has gone this season, and I think even last right before Forsaken, we kind of had some of that stuff to look at. So it kind of gives you a chance to like sink your teeth into some of those things before the new content drops. So I like that.
Which, speaking of the, apparently some new enemies have been spawning on the EDZ.
Yeah, I think EDZ and maybe
accidental
somewhere
possibly.
else. Yeah. So there's some kind of like thing that comes down and you kill the enemies, and it has a chest, but the chest is empty, but it has a chance to drop the new legendary weapons. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's pretty cool. It's
just fun though, even if it's an accident. The same thing happened, I think, with Forsaken. So, the only other thing I've been doing, man, is grinding some Diablo 3 still.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like level 40 something on there. That game works so well on Switch.
There was a deal for $17 at Walmart the day before Thanksgiving, and I missed it to get Diablo 3.
Dang.
I need to get.
You gotta get it, dude.
I gotta get it.
Maybe wait for another sale, but it is. I would buy a Switch for the Diablo experience. It's great, dude. Just pause and play, pick it up, level 1 or 2.
Maybe I'll get it sometime in December when I claw my hands off of Destiny for a little bit.
Right. That's the thing that's worked so well, dude. I lay down to go to bed and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna like level 1 or 2, and then I fall asleep. It doesn't like interfere with my Destiny play. It's nice.
All right, well we're gonna move on because we've got a email we wanted to read this week. We're almost out of time.
Yeah, dude. This is your fire team member. I thought maybe you should, of course it's a long one. You normally read the long ones.
All right. Let's hope I don't get tongue twisted. We've got an email from MD Sailor 771 Pro. Subject, Derp Fam Discourse. No questions, just praise. He writes, Dear AER0KNIGHT and Cyborg, MD Sailor here. I've been a part of the Derp Fam for about a year and an avid supporter of the Pineapple Pizza Lives Matter movement my entire life. I'll forgive him for that. I started listening to the podcast at the start of D2 about a year ago and have missed very few episodes since. The show you guys put on is so much different from other Destiny podcasts, as in you make all the listeners feel like a family. Each week you tell all the stories of the times throughout the week you've shared with your fellow Guardians, and it proves that this is more than just a game and that it is a social platform with the power to form lifetime friendships. I joined the Discord server and was immediately taken on like it was part of a family. I joined what was Derp Orange at the time, and I will always be a Derp Orange clan member in my heart. Hashtag Darth is not my clan leader. And immediately formed friendships. I played through all of D1 mostly solo, despite a few LFG groups and the switch to a group of 1,000+ players that would love to play with you and care about you was such a drastic change from what I was used to. I wasn't aware of this entire community that has such a passion for the same things I do. Even if Destiny wasn't in a great state at the start of D2, people still love the game. My ability to go into a chat and ask, anyone want to run the raid? And instantly become bombarded with messages is a great feeling. The Destiny community is such a passionate one, and having a hub for all these amazing people is such an amazing and positive atmosphere. Here I'm going to get on slightly more of a personal rant. I've been struggling with anxiety and depression for a long time. I try to find humor in everything to mask awkward situations I constantly find myself in. The Derp Fam opened up a group of individuals that didn't only care if you were good at a game, but cared about your well-being as another human being. I've made friends in the Derp Fam that I talk to on a daily basis, which I cannot say about my in real life friends. These last few months have been really hard for me between college and life, and my Destiny friends have helped me to come to terms with the fact that I don't need to stress over stupid things like that, and come to terms with the fact that everything will turn out okay in the end. The friendships I've made through the Derp Fam have helped with much more than even my family has, and I'm so grateful for them. Now I'm going to wrap this up. My main point is that if you're listening to this, you definitely should give the Derp Fam Discord and clans a try. Whatever your reasoning for not trying it is, such as anxiety or fear of not being accepted, is not a good reason. You instantly feel loved, and it is such a positive atmosphere. Cyborg has told me how many weekly listeners you all get, and that number made my jaw drop. If we can get all the listeners into the Discord, then there's no reason why anyone should feel lonely in this amazing game we all love. Anyways, you guys have been doing such a great job with the podcast, and everyone in the Discord holds a special place in my heart. I hope you all have a great holiday season and everyone be safe out there. Sailor signing off. P.S. If Arrow's reading this long email, then I'm so sorry, but if it's Cyborg, then you deserve every bit of this. Ha ha.
You know, so I had to read it.
Thanks for the email.
Set you up for that one. Dude, what an email, right? We had to message him and just say, wow, that's some powerful stuff, dude. Like, do you care if we read this? And thank you for sharing. Like, this is what it's all about. You hear us week in and week out talking about how awesome the Derp Fam is, but to really hear that story and those stories and you know, hear what the Derp Fam has done for people. I mean, we've heard things about people sending each other things for different aspects or flowers or this or that if something happened, or they were in my wedding or this meetup or that meetup, all the way to, you know, like personal things and anxiety and stuff like that. And dude, it's just, we're a big family, man. Like we call us the Derp Fam, the Derp family for a reason. And it's so cool that Sailor shared this with us, because that's it. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that email, buddy. I'm always
really
happy when, people not only find a place in our community, but they feel like they can call it home. And that's when you know you've really got some great friendships and relationships. And I think that's, you know, what makes Destiny so special. Like he mentioned, you know, it's more than just a game. It's a social platform. And for me as well, it's provided a way to find friendships I never would have had. Even, you know, with Sailor here, like we're totally like from different places and walks of life. Like there's an age difference there. He lives on the other side of the country. Like we never would meet. But I'm really proud to call him a good friend, and I enjoy playing with him. And, you know, I'm glad that he's found so many friendships and that those friendships have enriched his life. And, so like you said, I would encourage, if you're listening, you know, you can find that too. And some people, they may have friendships and that's okay, and they're not looking for more, but, even if you do, bring them along. You know, there's a lot of great people in our community and a lot more coming in every day that, are just great people, that you can play with and form friendships with that can really last a lifetime.
Yeah, dude, well said. That we all have our own groups inside of the Derp Fam, and then the Derp Fam as a whole. We're all just one big family, man. And it's, you know, you hear Cyborg and I mention it every week, but if you want to, you've heard it from Sailor, jump in, lurk if you want. We always welcome lurking, and throw up that first post whenever you feel like it. And people often thank us for creating an amazing community, and we just have to respond with, dude, it's not us. The Derp Fam is what makes the Derp Fam amazing. Yeah. Like, it's all the Guardians and the Derp Fam, dude. It's a cool thing, dude. It's really cool. It's what it is all about, man. Destiny's fun, and it's our favorite game, and it's a blast. But it is really fun, and as special as it is because of the people we play it with and experience it with, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks again, Sailor.
Yeah, thanks again, man. If you've got an email, you know, these can be, or a piece of discourse. It could be an email. It could be a speak pipe. It can be about something we talked about on the show. It can be sharing something just like this. Send us an email, destinyresetpodcast@gmail.com, or a speak pipe, speakpipe.com/destinyreset.
There you have it.
All right. We've got some patron shout outs that need to happen, but we need you to check your Patreon messages.
Guys. Yep. We got a few lingering out there. You're sitting in our inbox. We're waiting for a response. Definitely go check your Patreon messages. We want to and would love to give you that shout out. Thank you, Guardians.
Thanks to our new patrons. We'll give them a shout out when we get their gamer tags, because we don't want to dox them and say their full names on a podcast.
Yes,
but
exactly.
We will give you a shout out, but if you don't know what a patron is, go to patreon.com/destinyreset, where you can support the production budget of our show for as little as $1 a month. You get a couple rewards. You get a shout out on the podcast. You get your gamer tag posted on our website, and you get an invitation to a Discord channel just for Derp Fan patrons and supporters. Thank you again to our continued supporters who each and every month give, and really make a difference for Arrow and I. We appreciate it very much.
Very much.
All right, man. We got to wrap this up. We're almost out of time.
Close. Super close.
It's good to have you back again this week. I know I said that like 4 times.
Always fun, dude. I missed you.
Always miss you when you're gone.
Our texts are great, man. I love chatting with you via text, but I always look forward to our weekly chat.
Absolutely. Where can people find you online?
You can find me on all the things, mainly Twitter, at AER0KNIGHT with a 0. What about you, man?
Good. You can find me at CyborgSasquatch on Twitter and everywhere else. And then finally, you can find us at Destiny Reset on Twitter. Don't forget to follow and look for that giveaway this week on Twitter. You can find us on the web at destinyresetpodcast.com. And then finally, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, we thank you for your reviews. We've got a new one from Josh THH. Thanks so much. Those reviews help us get seen and heard by more listeners who want to listen to us talk about Destiny.
And listen and listen and listen. Oh, dude. It's time to wrap up and get back on that Braytech grind, my friend.
Yes, sir. I'm going to go play some Gambit.
There you go.
Chomping at the bit. I can't wait.
I got to get into that soon, man. I want that pinnacle weapon, dude. So bad.
Good luck.
All right, guys. Until next week, have fun playing Destiny 2. And take care, Guardians.